I think that's what happened the last time we couldn't read it. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Hello from Long Beach.
Hello from LA. I know it's Saturday night. Most likely you guys are probably out having fun. I know especially for my friends back home in Toronto, it's the Toronto International Film Festival, so you guys are probably out partying, having tons of fun. I know the Archangel Summit was today as well as Emily Mills of How She Hustle has had her screening of her story in Black. Congratulations, Em. I've been seeing some amazing things on Twitter. Who's joining us? Hi, Candy girl. You've been on my mind. I need to talk to you about something. I will message you. Katya and I, thank you guys for joining. Hi. We just completed 2 days of the Success Live conference here in Long Beach. The Success Live conference is put together by Success Magazine. We got our October issue. On the cover is Brendan Burchard, and Brendan actually spoke for 2 days. As promised, we said we'd document the journey. We'll share with you guys the various success habits, success hacks, success practices, some of the key takeaways we got. So tonight, we wanted to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, one favorite success hack that we're taking away from the conference from each of the speakers. I will say quickly, one of the things I really loved about the conference was that it was very action-packed in terms of in the workbook. We had, and I think I mentioned that to you guys on day one, we had action-based little... what do you call them? Worksheets, I guess you can say it. Worksheets. Hey, Miss Fab, thank you for joining. Thank you. Oh, we didn't show you guys our outfits for second day. Yeah. So I wore a blazer with a skirt and necklace and heels. Katya was all fab in her black, her little black dress.
Just a black dress.
She looked fab. She looked hot. Everybody was like, who are you guys? And why are you guys all dressed up? Because Friday, everybody was kind of dressed down. But as our stylist, Michelle, told us, you guys are not going to blend in. You're going to stand out. So we had to show up. And
she said, you're going to be out of place.
All
and
right.
I think today that was exactly it. Because at one point, this lady shows up and she's like, who are you guys? Like, you are so dressed up. Like, what's happening? What do you do? And it was just... it was out of place.
Yeah, so guys.
Michelle, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, for making us out of place. It worked. People kept coming up. The first day, some gentleman came up to me and he asked me, what magazine are you from? And I'm like, I don't work for a magazine. So it was great. And you know what? That's one of the reasons I love working with Michelle. For any of you guys, if you have been in your comfort zone when it comes to how you dress, how you present, dressing is an extension of how you present yourself. It's an extension of your identity. And for me, bold is one of my value words. It's one of my power words. And hence the reason why I changed my hair color and I explore different facets of Karlyn. And I use my fashion and the way I do my hair as an extension of expression, of expressing myself and who I am. So working with Michelle has been a game changer for me because I am the just wear black, very corporate-like looks, but working with Michelle, she's pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I am learning to just express myself through different ways and trying mixing prints and doing different things. And it is fun. I'm 40 and I'm having the confidence to do that now, and I think it's so much fun. So thank you, Michelle, for dressing us and helping us to rock those 2 days at Success Live Conference.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yes.
And I'm going to be learning from you with the color. Because I need to change this.
Katya loves black, so we're going to push her out of her comfort
2 days
zone.
in a row, I was wearing all black.
Yeah, but you looked fab, though. You killed it. Yeah, so it's all good.
Just as you did.
Thanks. Okay. So we wanted to share with you guys our biggest takeaways from the conference. The host of the conference was Simon Bailey. Simon is a leadership catalyst. He was fantastic. He was personable. He spoke today a little bit more, but we won't start with Simon. We'll start with who are the day one mentors? So
we had this little schedule here for day one and day two, just who's picking when.
Yeah.
So for the first one we had, Simon was the host and then Brenda Bouchard was the co-host.
First speaker.
He did, I think it was more about his story and just Yeah, his personal story, right? And there was a little bit about purpose, intention. But today he had his main talk.
He had his main talk today, yes.
On productivity, performance, and the book that's coming out.
Yes. But what I loved about Simon, one of the tips he gave us for the conference, and if you guys are going to a conference or any workshop, he said, "What if I think it, ink it." Meaning if somebody says something and it resonates with you, write it down. You don't have to write everything, and I'm a huge supporter of that. Only write the things that resonate with you in your soul set, in your heart set, and your mindset, because these are the things that you will most likely take the action on. Anything else will become it will just be overwhelming, and it will become another tactic for procrastination and for you to not do anything. And he also said that we are here to unlearn so that we can relearn the things that matter to us the most. So Brendan, do you want to go?
I have a couple of things for Simon actually as well. So I got whatever you said, and also he said relationships are currency of the future. And when you go out into a conference, make sure you connect with people, get in touch with people, exchange your contact information, stay in touch, create mastermind groups. This is key, and this is really currency for the future. This is a chance to collaborate, to learn, to just
soak it all up.
Friends, it goes above and beyond, right?
And there are a number of things, and we both stayed clear. We told you guys our intention when we first did the first video, and I actually met all my intentions. I wanted to meet Tom. I actually had this other goal of, I met a lot, the speakers who were available. Some of them had to leave right away, but I'll share with you guys a little bit more on all that. But I also met Crystal Thomason. She's actually from Jamaica. I follow her. She's so inspiring, and she's just awesome. And I met her, and I went to talk to her, and I'm just like, oh my God, girl, I love you. You're amazing. She was like, what? And we had this huge hug, love fest. So I'm so excited to continue the conversation. She's already messaged me. We're going to talk offline. I have her number. So that was one of those, moments where, because that's the next step for me, really building the tribe of leaders globally in the sisterhood and through collaboration, like with what Katya and I are doing. We're both coaches, but we're both helping each other grow and build our brand, because this is the season of collaboration. In order for you to get anything done, you cannot do it alone. As my favorite poet, Rumi, says, we are all here to carry each other home. So, Brendan Bashar, we don't want to make this long. We had about 25 speakers in all, so we'll just give you one tip. If you guys have any questions, drop it in the comment box, and we will let you know. And thank you for spending your Saturday night with us. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Okay.
Brendan, I have one thing.
Yes.
I think that was big for me day one. And what Brendan said is one of his things was, I must live each day with intention. And the way to get to your intention as well is, he said part of your purpose is to figure out what questions you will be asking yourself at the end of your life.
Yeah.
And then he said, if you don't know these questions right now, this is what you got to figure out. Because once you know what you're going to be asking yourself at the end of the day, this is what really matters to you. These are your values. This is your purpose. This is what's going to be driving you. This is going to be your guidepost for your life, for your decisions, behavior, actions. So what are the questions you're going to be asking yourself at the end of your life?
To know that you lived a life of intention.
Yeah, and if his things, it's...
His things was, did I live, did I love, did I matter? That one was really, really profound, because he said we all live. And he talked about, what I loved was that he said that he talked about the 3 types of life. And as I mentioned it, guys, you think about what life you're in. He said, you're either living the caged life, the comfortable life, or the charged life. And in the charged life, it means that you're living a life of intention, and you know that you're doing that success that is tied to your purpose. And in addition to that, one of the things that I really loved that he said was that I must jump in and face my fears, learn to listen through the fears. Again, I think Katya and I, we talked about this, guys. Fear it will come. It's normal. It's fine. It's how the brain works. It's how the brain is designed. But learn to listen through the fears and take action anyways. Fear is not an indication for you to stop. Fear is an indication for you to pause, figure out what it's trying to tell you, and take action anyways.
Just don't get paralyzed.
Yes, don't allow it to paralyze you. Our next speaker was Shailene Johnson. And Shailene talked about productivity, and she's a best-selling author. She's a lifestyle and business expert. And guys, if this resonates with you, take action right now. That is also, it will also help send a message to the brain to say that that message resonates with you. So either drop a comment or you can send us some hearts. We love. So feel free to send us some love. She said that when one do better, we all do better. And I love that. And it was all about taking care of yourself, taking care of the things that matter to you first before trying to do everything. Because she was addicted to work. She was a workaholic. It was kind of like her badge of she played, what did she call it? She was a matter. My West Indian accent, I can't pronounce that. But she said that for her, on her mom's scorecard, the things that she had on her scorecard that says that she was a good mom was doing laundry, cleaning, always being there for the kids, cooking, having a clean house. And she told herself, the story she told herself is that these are the things that makes me a good mom. But she said at the end of the day, when she checked in, her children didn't even know whether or not she did the laundry or what time she did the laundry. So that didn't really matter. So she had to change the story. And she said that when one of us do better, we all do better. So with her changing how she did certain things, she was able to be more present as a mom, and she was able to spend quality time with her children. So I thought that was really, really awesome.
Yeah, and I think it kind of relates to your point. It's really, every time you let go, your life feels better.
Yes, I like that.
So the lesson is really learn to let go. And a lot of times we're thinking, I cannot delegate this task to somebody else because, hey, I'm the best one at doing this task, right? And this is what we think, but we never give it a chance. But as soon as you let go and you delegate the task or whatever you need to let go of, you're gonna create space for something new, right? You're gonna create space for your children. You're gonna be more present in your life. And I think it's really, as hard as it is, we need to learn to let go. And as soon as we do that, it feels better, it feels lighter, right?
Yep,
it's like
you do better.
Burden is off, and let others do some tasks for you. And sometimes we think that, well, I cannot even afford to let go, right, or delegate something. You know what? Well, just think about the trade-offs. If you're not, like, there are people who specialize in something, and they're gonna do it. Like, you think you're the best at doing something, they're gonna do it much better, right? So. Yeah, I think
the speaker was, yes, change is definitely good in all aspects. The speaker was Shailene Johnson, Chalene. She's like a fitness expert. She New York Times bestseller author, and she's a motivational speaker as well. And I really love that. She was really funny, and she did a great presentation. And again, I think when we let go and we make space, when we let go of the good, we make space for the great. And most importantly, I always say to, if you decided to let go of one of those low value items that really doesn't add that much value, it needs to be done. So it's important, but it's not urgent. If you delegate that, what else can you be making space for? Better relationship with your husband, better relationship with your children, better relationship with your mother. Like, there is always something else, and usually that thing is the thing that we're avoiding, because it means that we're uncomfortable to face it. So sometimes we hold on to everything, telling ourselves that we're the only ones who can do it, as an excuse. So take an opportunity to and she did this really cool exercise with us. She had a bunch of different things: do the laundry, clean the house, feed the pets, walk the pets. And she said, in one column, do a check mark for the things that you do, and in the other column, a check mark for the things that other people do. And of course, majority of people, especially the women, had a lot of check marks in the things that I do. Yeah, anything you do. Yeah.
I just had one huge check mark on that side because
we do everything.
I take care of everything, right?
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Yes, let go. But we start by trying. Oh, thank you, love. Thank you. So our next speaker was John Gray. Okay, so John Gray, I don't know if you guys know, he's Pastor John Gray. He's actually a associate pastor at Lakewood Church, but he's also a speaker, singer, and comedian, and he does all three really well. He had us yelling amen, he had us laughing, he had us giving him standing ovation in the middle of his speech. Like, he was great. So his whole talk was around reframing success. And he said, what I loved about his speech, he said that identify what matters. Where are you supposed to be going? What are you supposed to be doing? And he said that people need to step up and take their rightful place. What is that thing that you're supposed to be doing? Where are you supposed to be going? And when are you going to step up to take your rightful place? And he talked about what's going on right now with Hurricane Irma, with Harvey, with Jose and Katya. Well, not this Katya, but, Katya. And he said that the earth is trying to tell us something, and we need to redefine success to include our purpose now more than ever. Like, his speech was powerful. I loved it. And he said that maybe success is not the accumulation of things, but is what you do with those things. Right? Think about that one, guys. What was your best takeaway from John?
For me, it's also about redefining success. And he said success is not about what I can make, but it's what I can give away.
I love that one.
Not what you can make, but what you can give away. And also he said success is not about success I achieve, but it's about the legacy that you leave behind.
When you're 6 feet under, what are people going to say about you, and how are they going to remember you? And actually, the other thing he said that was really powerful, he said that you were destined to solve one particular problem. If you don't solve it, it means that myself and Katya, we do not have the support and the rest of the piece of the pie that we need to make sure that we make lasting change before we leave this place. So I really want you to think about your definition of success with your purpose in mind. And what is that one thing? What he say? Identify what matters. Where are you supposed to be going? And what are you supposed to be doing? Because you were destined to solve one particular problem. I'm depending on you to do that one thing you're supposed to do.
And I love what he said also, success of one is blessing for all.
Yes. Oh, John, there was just so many nuggets from John. We love John. Like, he had us, he was amazing. And next was Dean Graziosi. Yes, he's an investor.
Marketing guy.
He was the marketing guy, yeah. Yeah, he was really good. What was my one thing from? Yes, so he talked about the 8 reasons of what makes him a great dad, which was also the same 8 reasons that makes him a great speaker, leader, marketer as well. And I found that all the things that he mentioned, you can apply to just about anything in life. Anywhere you are in any stage in your life. But the one thing he talked about, which was very powerful, he said, the first thing he said was understand your kids and get them to feel understood. And he used some real life examples, with his daughter. His daughter didn't want to go to school one day. He said she's very active. She's very happy in school. She has lots of friends. But there was this one particular day she didn't really want to go to school. And he was like, what is wrong? Get dressed. But then she's just like, no, I'm sick. And he's like, she knew she wasn't sick. And he's like, get your clothes on. And he said he was getting impatient. And he was like, just put your clothes on and let's go. And he could tell that something was wrong. But he also he had to go get some stuff done. So he said, understanding your kids and get them to feel understood was a powerful moment for him to teach his kids a particular lesson. So he said he spent the time and he asked her and he dug in a little bit deeper, and he said she didn't want to speak actually, and he said that he started going through the names of all her friends, and he said, oh, come on, if you don't go to school you won't see Katya, you won't see Janice, and you won't see whatever. And he said when he said one particular name, he noticed a shift in her body language. Her face all crunched up and her entire body language changed. So he was like, aha, he got it. So he's like, oh, so what's going on with Olivia? Is everything? And then she said that at school yesterday, Olivia did not want to sit with her for lunch. And so his daughter felt rejected. So that was the reason why. So he said he asked her, who is somebody at school who usually sits alone for lunch? And his daughter gave him a name of this other girl. And he said he told his daughter, which I thought was so powerful. He said, who in your school sits alone every day? Find someone who needs a sitting buddy and stop worrying about who's not sitting with you. You need to go and sit with the person who doesn't have anybody to sit with, as opposed to focusing to the person. And for me, I thought that was so powerful. Yes, it was for his daughter and teaching her how to make new friends in school, but generally in life, how many of us are still worrying about, friends who probably betrayed us or people who walked out of our lives, and we're still worrying and wondering about, why did you leave? What did I do? It's not about what did you do. It's about who can you serve? Who can you go and sit with? Who can you go and have lunch or dinner or breakfast with? So I really, really, really love that message. But he gives some 8 fantastic tips. I took lots of notes, but I took only the notes that resonated with me. But he gave lots of fantastic tips.
Yeah, so one in relation to what you mentioned, it's people need to be understood. And then it's, as an extension, live in the mind of your prospect. Because this is how you're going to understand you people. Put yourself in the shoes of those people, right?
Yeah.
And one more thing is, so there is the gap between the person that you are and the person that you want to become is your thoughts.
Your thoughts. Yes, I love that.
Who you want to become, and it's just your thoughts.
Yes, he said that your thoughts is the only thing between the space of who you are and who you want to become. Like, when he said that, I was like, right, guys? So, oh, thank you, Mrs. Oh, thank you for sharing. I will send you a screenshot of the eight things that makes him a great dad. Really amazing tips that he practices with his children. And again, like I said, I saw how we can apply to every other areas in our lives. He did a fantastic job. Yes. Okay, our next speaker was Jocko Willink. Jocko is a retired Navy SEAL officer, and he was a New York Times best-selling author.
Well, the main message here is discipline equals freedom.
Yes.
And some people were saying, well, it's kind of like counterintuitive, right? Because like discipline and freedom. Well, what he said is, so disciplined parts of your day give you freedom for the other parts of your day. Mm-hmm. So if you wake up, let's say, early and fit in your workout, like schedule let's say the 4 days of your 4 hours of your day and do the tasks that you need to do, well, everything gets done, the main things, and you can spend the rest of your day as you wish, right? It gives you freedom for the rest of your days. Sometimes you can attend to whatever comes up, or you can plan some relaxation or anything of that sort, because
or the unexpected things.
And just because you had intentional first half of the day and you were disciplined and you attended to everything that had to be done, that's really important to get you going.
Yes.
So that was his key message for me.
Discipline equal. Yeah, he was great. And the other way he explained discipline equals freedom, he said, like, for example, if you want financial freedom, then you need to have financial discipline. And when he put it was so simple, but when he put it out, I was like, oh man, like, duh, I want financial freedom. But where am I in my financial discipline? Am I doing the things that I'm supposed to do? In my success plan, am I honoring my weekly money dates? Am I reviewing my bank statement? Am I putting my receipts away for my taxes? Like, how disciplined am I in my financial process? Because that is going to dictate my level or how quickly I get to financial freedom. Notes going into my plan. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And then same thing for free time. He said, if you want to have more free time, then you need to be more disciplined with your time. Learn to say no. Learn to say no to the things that don't really matter. And one thing he said about, because the guy asked him, a lot of people quit for the Navy SEALs. He's like, everybody's look at the obstacle course and everybody's like, that's it. But he's like, but that's just the beginning. And he said that how did he manage to spend over 20 years in the Navy SEALs? And plus, he got tons of awards. And he said that I wasn't a superstar in any sport. And I love that when he said that. He's like, I wasn't a superstar. I wasn't like great in any of it. But he said, but I wasn't going to quit. So he pushed himself and he kept on going, and that's what made him last as long as he did in his position. Yeah,
he also said he had an open mind, he had a beginner's mind, and he stayed humble.
Yes.
And that's what made him. And actually, a few tips from him.
The 3 steps, right?
To success. Yeah. Wake up early, work out every day, and plan for the next day. That's your discipline.
We kind of wrote the same notes. This is weird. Freaky. I feel like she was copying me. Not really. Yes, okay. And then we went to Keith. Keith for us, we loved Keith.
So much vulnerability.
So much vulnerability. Listen, this was the first speaker. And Keith, if you guys don't, Keith is a best-selling author, public speaker, and nationally recognized networking expert. He is the author of the book, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it, Never Eat Alone. Have you guys heard about it? And Who's Got Your Back? He's a regular contributor to Harvard Business Review, Forbes, Fortune magazine. Like, he is major. So when this guy stood on stage, and I'm telling you guys this, and you can even Google him as well, when he openly admitted that I had a scarcity mindset and I struggle. And he gave the story about his mother, who after his dad died, his mother was struggling on her own for a bit. And she had this group of ladies who she met with every month for her to play cards. And they used to go out and have their little meetups. And he said he believes that this is what kept her going. What kept her going and infused joy in her life after his dad died. And he said that when he thought about his mother's life and, you know, and how she lived the rest of her years after his father died, he realized, he said that, who am I going to play cards with? I don't have that. And I was just like, why is this guy trying to run my mascara? Like, he openly admitted on stage that he doesn't have a bro circle. Like, he doesn't have those people who will call him, and he's super successful.
He's a CEO of the company, and he actually said, I'm a CEO of the company, I'm this powerful person you may as per title, right? And whatever
and money,
status,
yep.
Right? But then he said, I don't have that.
I don't have that.
And you could hear like his voice breaking, right?
Yes, and he said, I'm working on it. Wow. I'm aware of it and I'm working on it. And I was just like, wow. For a guy to admit that level of run. And he said, like, if any of the speakers are coming on stage right now telling you that they have it all together and life is great, he's like, they're bullshitting you. They're not telling you the truth. Because it's like, yes, I have achieved a certain level of success, and we all have, but there are still things that we're working on, and that's what I keep telling you guys. You guys keep thinking that you're different, or you need something more, or you need to do all. You don't. You are where you're supposed to be. Feel the fear and do it anyways, because we all struggle. The difference is that we continue to take action through the fear. The reason why Katya and I are here, we took action. We saw Success Live. We decided to go look for coupons. Then we got the buy one, get one free. And then, and we got here. But we took action. We started doing the research the minute we were interested in it. We didn't just sit there and think about, man, how am I going to pay for it? I don't know if I can afford it. Yes, these might naturally come up, but still take action. Find out what is out there and find out what you need to do and do it. So when Keith said that, it was really an eye-opener for me. I just love his authenticity. I loved his vulnerability. And one thing he said, which for some of you guys, because I know sometimes that's your story, because it was my story when I was in corporate, you might have an asshole as a leader. Unfortunately, it happens. I know it. He said, if you are an asshole as a leader, then you're simply insecure. And he told the crowd, if any of you have somebody who's an asshole who's a leader, you're simply dealing with an insecure man, or an insecure woman. I think that's the biggest thing I can give you guys from. I mean, there's a whole lot more, but that's my only thing I'm going to give you guys from Keith.
I'll add one more thing. He said, people will change for other people before they change for themselves. Yeah. And I think, this is so true. And this is where accountability comes in.
Yes.
If you cannot be accountable to yourself, find that person who's going to help you with accountability. And this rings so true, right? You're gonna if you're accountable to somebody else, you will actually implement changes, and you are gonna start doing the changes in your life just because you told somebody else, hey, you know what, I'm doing it. And just make sure that that other person, your accountability partner, they're gonna hold you accountable.
Yep.
And if you don't do something, they're gonna call you out.
Yep.
Call you out on
your
non-action, right?
Yep.
So.
And that's what we do, and that's why for us, we're great because we call each other out. We email. Like I said, when Katya was in Italy, she was in Europe for 2 weeks. We were Skyping. I'm like, when you gonna get Wi-Fi? Because we need to talk. We need to check in on items 1, 2, and 3, right? Because if you look for an excuse, it will always be there. Trust me. So why not look for a way for you to elevate yourself and get to your next level? That is also available as well. Right? Because the minute the sexy excuse is there, that is also an option as well. The part for you to elevate yourself, to take yourself to the next level, it's there. I'm going to share one more thing with you guys, what he said. He said that, what is your psychological tip telling you? He said, you have addictions that are holding you mediocre. And he said that addiction is something you keep doing, even though it is not serving you, it is not getting you to what you want. What are you addicted to? Keith was thebomb.com. I loved Keith.
I think
Loved him.
I think from day one he was the most vulnerable.
He was.
Speaker.
He was.
Yeah.
He was amazing. Les Brown. OMG. I love Les Brown. I watch all his video online. Les Brown is part of my morning routine. I listen to his videos online. And I don't know if any of you guys watch him, but you know, one of the things he talked about is like, you gotta be hungry.
Oh, yeah,
He had all of us saying it. You gotta be hungry.
That was amazing.
And he said, don't live your history, live your imagination. Right? I mean, there were tons of stuff from Les, but don't live your history, live your imagination. Right?
Yeah.
What's your number one thing?
I've got so
One.
many. I know one. Let me see.
Oh, this light.
Oh, I'm just going through my notes, and one of the many things that I love is sometimes you've got to believe in someone else's belief in you.
Yeah, that's true. I love that one
when
too.
somebody tells you something about you, they believe in you, and it's just something you may not necessarily see. Just start believing in that belief.
Yeah.
And this is how it all starts, right?
Yep.
This is how you make your dreams happen. So yeah, just believe in someone else's belief in you.
And he said, screen your calls. Going back to what Keith mentioned about addiction, sometimes, you know, being on the phone, I know social media can be a problem for some of us, but also screen your calls. And he said he uses those simple questions to know if you should take a call or not. Is it productive? Is it positive? Is it purposeful? Is that person on the other line a contributor, or are they just a taker? And is it profitable? And he said if it's a no to all of these or any one of these, he's not taking the call.
Oh, one last thing. Live
full
or
die empty.
Yeah, that was...
Mel Robbins!
We've been mentioning her so many times with the 5-second rule, and we finally got to see her live.
Yeah, we did.
In
It was
action.
awesome. I mean, we've watched the videos for so long. We have a book. We've implemented the rule. Yeah, she was awesome.
Finally.
We didn't get to meet her. She's not one of the people we met because she was at the end of the day. And then, yeah, but the one thing she mentioned, she said that, what's your next chapter? What's your next chapter? And she said that your entire life is happening in 5-second windows. I thought that was powerful. I mean, she said so many amazing things. And we'll probably, on another video, we'll deconstruct her. Because she talked about doubt, feeling doubt. She said feeling doubt is normal, but giving into it is a choice.
Yeah, listening to
it is a choice. Doubt is normal, just like fear. But giving into it, listening to it, acting upon it is a choice. And this is where your power lies. But she said that your entire life is happening in 5-second windows. So imagine if every 5 seconds you can take a powerful decision or you can make a better decision, what would your next chapter look like?
And about going back to the doubts, it's your doubts create mountains. Your actions move them.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
Back to the actions. This is the cure,
guys.
right?
Action.
Cure for everything.
Action is a cure for everything.
For insecurity, doubts,
stagnation,
action.
Emotional constipation. Action.
And then confidence starts with action.
Yes.
This is how you build your confidence. Action. Oh. If you have a problem that can be solved with action, then it's not a problem. How profound is this?
So many good things from now.
If we can fix stuff with actions, how many problems do we have at the end of the day?
Technically, you don't have any problems, guys. All you need is the time and space for you to take action on the things that are currently labeled as problems. Right? Oh, sure, Darren. Hey, Darren, thank you for joining. Which part? Was it the part about if you have a problem that can be solved with action, then it is not a problem? If you have a problem that can be solved with action, then it is not a problem. So, for example, if you're worrying about something, or if you're waiting for an answer for something, can it be solved with action? Can you call the person? Can you send an email? Can you get an answer on that particular thing? It's not a problem. You're just waiting for you to put some action into it. Okay, so you've emailed the person twice. Doubts created mountains. Okay.
Oh. So your doubts create mountains, your actions move them.
And she had those 4, what does she call them? 4... The 4 traps of self-doubt.
Oh.
Okay. The 4 traps of self-doubt. And she said the 4 traps are hesitating when you're triggered by uncertainty. You're waiting. You're overthinking. You're wanting your inbox to be perfect. Hiding. Hypercritical. And also helplessness. These are the 4 traps of self-doubt. So if you find yourself hesitating, hiding, hypercritical, helplessness, ask yourself, is there an action I can take on any of those things in that category? Then just know that you don't have a problem, and you can actually shift your mountain of self-doubt by taking action. The key there is action.
Action.
That's it. And that was the end of day one. Day one was fantastic. We both had our action steps that we've completed. My action step for day one, I really love what Brendan Burchard said in terms of how do you know you're living an intentional life? How do you know at the end of the night before you go to bed, or like he said, at the end of your life, let's say when you're dead, what are the questions that you'll be asking yourself that will help you determine if you're living an actionable, an intentional life? So last night, I did my homework. Katya did her homework. I came up with my 3 things, my 3 questions. And also John Gray talked about what is your 6 feet under legacy. I also worked on that as well last night. So this was my little, workbook here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Is the light in the way? The light is in the way. And I completed that. What was your action item?
It's also about the questions.
Yes. Yes, yourself.
At the end of yeah. And then it's just a reminder that start each day with intention. And another one was define success as our life changes every day, or not every day, like
priorities change.
Yeah, like priorities change, and a month from now, life may look different, right? So now it's really redefine success. What does success mean to me now? So that was one of my action steps. Really define success, what it is to me now, what it means for me to be successful now, where I stand in life. And from that on, just and then just a reminder just about letting go. I think that was a key takeaway for me as well.
And day two was today. Day 2, Simon Bailey, like I said, Simon Bailey, he's a leadership catalyst, he's an author, he's the CEO of Simon T. Bailey International. He talked about shifting your brilliance. You can follow him on Instagram and on Facebook. And he talked about the CIC, which all of you guys can relate to. The comparison inferior complex. When you compare your current reality or a chapter in your book to somebody else's life. And he said, it's not who you are that holds you back from brilliant success. It's who you think you're not. I'll say that again. It's not who you are that holds you back from brilliant success. It's who you think you're not. So who do you think you're not? Think about that. And he's also said, oh gosh, so many great ones. Simon had some awesome ones. Never ignore an expiration date. If your time has passed on a particular relationship, job, situation, whatever, never ignore an expiration date. Let bygones be bygones.
And a lot of times, if you ignore it, life is gonna make it happen anyways, right? It's gonna bring you expiration date.
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna force it on you, right?
Exactly.
And I love what he said, what you want
wants you. I was like, whatever you seek is also seeking you, guys. And he also said, this one was also powerful. He said, what you don't deal with will eventually deal with you.
Yeah.
What you don't deal with will eventually deal with you. And he gave a very interesting stat. He said, like, by age 17, especially he was speaking about children, he shared the story about his daughter and why it's very important to say yes to her. He said by age 17, a child has heard no 150,000 times. And yes, 5,000 times. So which means all of us are carrying in our bank more no's than yeses. And sometimes that can be a catalyst for us not to take action. So he said, say yes to yourself today. So based on everything that you've heard, when you guys walk away tonight, what will you say yes to yourself on? What will you say yes on?
Yeah, and going back to the no's, he said, rejection is a gift inviting you to step up.
Yeah. Yes.
How bad do you want it, right?
Hi, Karlyn, thank you for joining. Then we had Peter Vood. Peter is the best-selling author of 6 Months to Six Figures, and he's the leading authority for millennial entrepreneurs. I really loved Peter. Peter talked a lot about the one-page mastery. He talked about knowing your ideal outcome. His was a little bit more business-focused, but again, knowing everything that came back to, knowing yourself and being clear about what is that one skill you want to master that's relevant to your top big 5 things or your top 5 goals or your top 5 values. What is that one skill that you want to master?
I love that he was talking about values.
Yes.
And really, at the end of the day, knowing your values, being clear on your values, as I said before, it's a guidepost for your life. It's a guidepost for your decisions, for your behavior. This is how you can actually decide, should I accept this opportunity or should I go a different way? Should I have these people in my life or no, I should surround myself with people with similar values, right? So it really drives your actions, behavior, and thoughts. All comes down to values, which is the foundation for your life.
And I love that he said, focus on mastery, not overload. Execute the right information. He said, get rid of the noise because most things don't matter. Only focus on what matters the most and never make a decision when you're frustrated, when you're tired, when you're lonely, when you're hungry. He said, to really get the right information in and make sure that everything you're studying are the things that are tied to your 6-month goal. And I was like, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, he said, you need execution of right information. Yes. You don't need more information. Because sometimes we get into this thread, I need to learn more. This is just an excuse, again, right?
Sexy excuse.
Yeah, you have all the information, you have all the knowledge. Start sharing, start serving.
And I love that he said, don't live on Someday Island. Right now matters. You're on a right now island, do something about it. Don't live on Someday Island.
Going back to the present moment.
You're going back to the present moment.
Now is the place. Now is the time.
Tom Bilyeu! Tom! Oh my gosh. Tom from Impact Theory? Okay, how many of you guys watch Tom? Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory. He's the co-founder, CEO, and host of Impact Theory on YouTube. He has an awesome show. Thank you so much for joining us, Kiraboo. Thank you for watching. We're going to go through it quickly because we don't want to keep you guys. We want to make sure you guys can go enjoy your Saturday night. But I freaking love Tom. Tom is also all about the brain. He walked on stage and he said, I am going to give you $1 billion mindset. And he got us started with what he called the impact prayer, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's all about how can you use your brain better? How can you get into the matrix and take the red pill so that you can shake up your life and you can do what you are supposed to do? He said the number one thing for you, how he went from broke to billionaire. You want to know how he went from broke to billionaire? You guys ready? Get your pen. He said, develop your mindset. If I had to describe this conference in probably 2 words, I would say it was all about mindset, your thoughts, your mind. That's what from billionaires to the millionaires, everybody, mindset and execution, action. These were the two, I would say, main theme from every single person who came on stage. And they all advocated on the fact that they're no different from me and you. The only difference is they took action through the fear. That's it. That's it. They kept on taking action. But he said, develop your mindset. You must decide that you can get good at anything. And belief is a decision.
And you've got to become so good that people cannot ignore you.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Yes.
And I think in addition to the mindset and action that you mentioned, one thing I want to add is relationships. And
yes, he talked
people.
about, they all talked about relationships. Yeah, everything was about relationships. Everything. He said build self-esteem around the right answer as well. It only matters who you are willing to become. Who are you right now? It doesn't really matter. What matters is who you would like to become. And which is very similar to what, was it Peter? Keith? Who said that the bridge between who you are who you are and who you would like to become is your thoughts. It's your mindset.
Oh,
it was Dean
Graziosi.
Yeah, Dean Graziosi. He was super nice. I liked him. He was awesome. And then we had Kim Perrell. Kim Perrell, she's a global digital marketing leader, investor and entrepreneur. She sold her business like she had a lot of startups. She sold businesses to Apple. She's invested in over 70 startups, 12 of which has been successfully acquired by some of the largest 500 Fortune companies. So girlfriend is just killing it. And for her, it was all about execution. She was all about the execution factor.
Yeah, she said an idea is only as good as how well you can execute on it.
Yeah.
You can have an idea, but if you don't do anything with it,
what's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
And then she also said rock bottom makes you realize what you really want in life. I guess it's just another message you learned from any experience in life. Right?
Any experience. Because remember, things happen for you and not to you guys, for you, to teach you about who you are and what you are truly capable of. And then Brendan Burchard came back. Brendan Burchard talked about his latest book, which is High Performance Habits. So he shared with us a few habits from that. One key thing I'll share with you, which again is going to be, from everything that we've spoken about. He said it's not a different person who achieves high performance. The difference is that it's a different set of practices. It's not the people, it's the practice. You guys heard that? I'm going to say it again. It is not a different person who achieved high performance. And he said high performance is not necessarily related to a business or to your corporate work. It could be a high-performing family. You can be a high-performing wife. You can be a high-performing husband. Again, it's all about your maximum best self in that particular role that you are in. So it's not about the person, but it's about the set of practices. Like, what are you practicing? What are you focusing on? What are you doing every day? What are your daily habits telling you about your life and the person that you would like to become?
I second that. That was my takeaway.
Yeah.
And I think they've been learning so many successful people, and they see the same practices amongst those successful people. So now it's just confirmation time and time again that this works. Yeah. It's just a matter of implementing and being consistent with it. It's
all about implementing, guys. That's it. It's all about implementation. And the other person we really loved, we had an interview with Scott Scooter Braun. Honestly, I didn't know who Scott was before he came on stage, but I looked him up. He's in the entertainment industry. Apparently, he produces music for people like Justin Bieber, Kanye West, Usher. So he's a music guy. Amazing guy. Like, I did not know what to expect. He's 36. He's killing it in his industry. And he's like, I'm living my dream. But what I loved about his younger brother interviewed him. And they were choking up on stage. For me, what was powerful about him and his success and how he described it was that he was so open about the struggle, but most importantly, how important his family is to him and how he doesn't have the right answers. And he doesn't necessarily know what it is, but all he knows is that every day he's going to show up and keep on doing the work. But both of them choked up when he talked about how the impact his brother had on his life, and his voice started cracking up, and he talked about those 2 kids his family adopted. I think they were were they they're Mexican? I couldn't really tell what ethnicity his other brother was, who were adopted in the family. But he talked about, like, he shouted out his brother who was in the crowd as well, right then and there, telling him how much, you guys are so grateful that you came into our family. But he's like, but you being in my family changed my life. And it was just really amazing that, it was such a great conversation, and just having him, be so vulnerable on stage and to choke up and tears in everybody's eyes. I thought it was so powerful.
Yeah, and I think one of his messages was as well, like, his ability to connect with people so well. It's his ability to put himself into other people's shoes.
Yes.
And a lot of times we don't do that, or we choose not to do it.
Yes.
Right?
And he's a brilliant guy, and he goes after, one of the things he said in terms of, like, people asked that, one of the questions was, how did you get to where you are working with all those big brands? He's invested in so many companies, and all his companies are doing really well. And he said, go after a goal that's much bigger than who you are. He's like, when I saw my wife, I knew she was out of my league, but I was like, I'm gonna marry you. Like, I am going to hunt you down, and I'm going to not hunt you down, but basically he said that he knew it would have been a tough goal for him to achieve, but he went for it anyways. And that has been his motto as well for his business and for everything. And he said the best tip he received from one of his mentors was, what did he say? Was it ink your wife or
sign your wife?
Sign your wife. And he said the reason why his mentors told him that is, like, when he's going after a deal, whether it's a new song or new artist or whatnot, he's like, you put everything into that. It's like day and night, you eat it, you sleep it, that is everything for you. He said, do the same thing in your relationship with your wife. Yeah, you get married, and he admitted, he's like, marriage is hard, marriage is work. He's like, it doesn't come for us easy. You get married, especially when you have kids. It's not easy. You have to work at it. You have to work at communicating. And again, so I love this transparency, because so many people sell the story of, oh, you get married, it's a bed of roses. No, it's not. My husband and I, we have to learn how to communicate every day. And I have to learn and understand his love language. And I have to know that it's not about how I want to love him, but it's about how he wants to be loved. It's not about my comfort zone. It's about how do I get out of my comfort zone so that I can hear him and see him. So he talked a little bit about that, and he said that, so for him now, he's learning how to sign his wife, because he understands that we're not breaking up. We're in this for the long run. So I loved it. And one of his favorite books, which is a book I picked up, and you guys should get it, is A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. Love that book. Small book, great read. And our final speaker for the day was Dr. Daniel Amen. Oh, I love Dr. Amen. Dr. Amen was amazing.
Yeah, he was all about brain.
I know. The brain geek in me was so excited for his talk.
And it just like...
I know.
Just seeing on the screen the brain scans,
oh
and
my
how
gosh.
messed up some brain scans were, and
guys,
how much change and improvement could be done within weeks simply by changing your
habits,
environment, habits, like eating habits, exercising, toxins, mold.
I wish I could show you guys the difference between a 35-year-old brain and a 50 brain. He had a scan and image. Think of it as a sponge with holes. And you're not supposed to have that many holes, because the whole thing about the neurons
was missing. Like,
there's a whole part there is, and the whole talk was around Alzheimer's. And if you're 40, he's like, go get checked. If you have Alzheimer's or dementia in your family, go get checked, because part of it is genetics. And he gave us, again, some very simple tips that he showed us a brain. He showed us his 92. Was she 92? 92 or 82? Grandmother.
92, I think.
His 92-year-old grandmother's brain was just as complete and whole and full as a 35-year-old brain. His grandmother, 92-year-old brain, looked better than somebody's brain who was at age 50. And he talked about why? Because she needed. And she did her crossword puzzles. Because the whole thing about neurons, guys, your brain cells, if you don't use it, you lose it. And meaning, if you don't use it, what it means is that we operate on autopilot. A lot of the things that we learn. So, for example, tonight when you go to bed, a lot of the things that you've even taken in tonight and all the things that you've done throughout the day, the brain transfers it from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. Your long-term memory goes into your subconscious, which means that's how we start operating our subconscious. So, which means you're not necessarily firing new neurons in your brain cells. So everything is kind of like going on autopilot. You have to ensure that you're kicking off new brain cells every single day by using your brain better. And
I love what he said. Your brain history is not your destiny.
Yes,
because you can change it.
You can change it.
If it's not functioning in the best possible way, you can improve your lifestyle and do little hacks and tweaks here and there, which can actually improve your performance and your brain.
And he talked about some risk factors affecting your brain in terms of giving a healthy brain, and blood flow is one of them. And blood flow, some of the things that negatively impact blood flow, caffeine, I know you're asking about the coffee thing, coffee, nicotine, erectile dysfunction, not exercising, etc., etc. All of those things affect your blood flow, which has a negative impact on your brain. And he said something which was really cool. As weight goes up, not cool, but again, it's information for you guys. As weight goes up, your brain size diminishes. As weight goes up, your brain size diminishes.
Which means functionality.
Functionality, which means your functionality goes down, your ability for you to think, your ability for you to analyze, your ability for you to use your logical brain also diminishes as well. But the good news is, like he said, there are simple things you can do, guys, in order for you to have a healthier brain. Like, the brain is plastic. That's where positive neuroplasticity comes in. There are little things that you can do every day that will ensure that you have a healthier brain. He talks about taking a probiotic. When you stop learning, your brain starts dying. And again, learning doesn't have to be anything huge. It could be you're learning a new language. Just go on YouTube, Google every single day, learn a new language. Writing what you're grateful for is another thing. And you guys have heard me talking about it, reading books. It's not about reading a whole book, but at least reading one book. And guys, Alzheimer's, us women, we are the higher risk. By the time you're 40, there's I can't remember what's it called, but there's something that builds up in our brain that really affects us. It affects our ability for us to connect our neurons and our synapses. So that's why for us it's even more important for us to continue to stay active and do the little things that can help us to build a healthier brain. Fish oils, multivitamins, toxins in terms of the products. I know the products, especially for women, alcohol, smoking, heavy metals. Also mental health. There's another thing affecting our brain that puts our brain at risk. Chronic stress, emotional trauma, grief, depression, bipolar disorder, ADD. What did he say about the depression? He said something interesting about depression. He said that a client, somebody who's on depression, right, giving them medication and giving them fish oil, just taking fish oil, omega-3 fatty what?
Fatty acid.
Fatty acid. It has the same impact on the brain. Like the depression medication isn't better. It doesn't change anything. As a matter of fact, that is the
fish oil.
The fish oil has a better impact on your brain. And of course, sleep. Less than 7 hours, low blood flow to your brain. Yeah. And then there was the Michael guy, Burnoff. He said we live in a world that wants us to be average. So he said to be a person of influence, but be a person of influence on your life. He said to be the observer, be the consultant on your life. And if you tracked yourself for a day, what would you say about you? I was like, what would you say about you if you tracked yourself for a day? And instead of being average, you can be brilliant. I wouldn't talk about Peter Diamandis.
Yeah.
Peter just shared a lot of evidence of abundance. Peter is a brilliant guy. He's the founder and chairman of X Prize Foundation, doing a lot of stuff in the genetics world and technology. And the day before, he said, the one thing he said that was really awesome, he said the day before something is truly a breakthrough, it is a crazy idea. So if you're having any crazy ideas, just know that you're a couple of days or a day before your major big breakthrough. That was it. I know it was a lot, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and for being patient. If you have any questions, let us know. But we wanted to share with you the takeaways from the Success Live conference. And Katya and I, we have a couple of ideas in terms of how we are going to use the information that we have been given, because information without execution is garbage, right? So we are taking the things that resonate with us the most. We have a couple ideas of what's coming next. So we will share with you over the next couple of days how we are going to apply some of the success principles in our lives and how we are going to add more value to your life. Again, everything you need is at your disposal. Self-doubt